Joined by Ariel Evans, co-founder and CEO of cyber risk quantification platform RiskQ. Good to have you back on the program here. Look, it's an issue for me at home, of course. It seems like a daily battle sometimes with my children of the same age. A lot of hours spent on Roblox, I'll admit, in my house. Look, always, it seems like we're reining in the kids from that nonstop clickbait, the targeted ads hitting them. Look, have platforms like this steered companies to solely target kids, or is this, just the latest innovation in an age-old practice?
Well, I think children are curious by nature, right? And so they want to look and see what mom and dad are doing when they see they're on their iPad or on their computer and they're buying fun things. They want to get involved too. So it's quite common that children will try and figure out how to actually either figure out mom and dad's password or figure out a way to get into the application another way. So it's very common.
Is there something insidious in it? Should we be upset? Is there something controversial? Or is, again, look, does this go back to, television ads that target kids or everything else? I mean, just the latest platform where children's eyeballs are on, or is there something, worse going on here?
I don't think so. I think it's just human nature. I think it's just typical. Certain types of applications are going to be much more attractive to children than others. You don't see them going on Amazon, which is good because they do a lot more damage than $2,000 if they had hacked the Amazon password. I think it's also challenging for children to expand their learning capabilities with IT and computers to see, well, what can I do? And in some ways, this little child is quite good. Whatever she figured out, she understood like what the keyword was for the secret question, or how to reset the password and get into mom's email. She was quite inventive.
Yes, she was.
I'm glad they gave them the money back because I was curious as to if they do that or not, because the parent is supposed to child-proof their things.
Right, a gray area there, I think, in the policy is about refunds, but worth making your case if it's up to $3,000. I'll have to keep this in mind. Safeguards for kids in this environment obviously are so important, critical, I'd argue, to implement. Is there enough of that being done out there? I mean, how can we watch out? What should we do? I know there are a lot of these things, the devices themselves come with sort of, parental lockdown or ways to sort of control, but is this an area that's getting enough attention?
Well, it's a good question. I think there's two things that we need to be aware of. One is first the physical locality of the device, and making sure that the child doesn't have access to it would be one of the best things that you could do. And then secondly is if you are using these devices and the child does get it, are you putting multi-factor authentication in place so that there needs to be a code sent to your phone so that you can actually say, oh, someone's on my app and it's not me. Which is really a great preventative way of preventing the kids from actually exploiting that, because they can't do anything if they're asking for a code. It'll just go nowhere.
Are you aware of any companies that are getting into trouble already with sort of an all-out I don't want to say assault, but approach targeting children? I mean, is this wading into realms that we should really be concerned about here? Just the focus on children, the knowledge, the fact that so many young children, 10 and younger, are already online much of the day. Is this becoming a new predatory realm?
It is. It's one of the ways that obviously cyber criminals who are predatory pedophiles can actually entice children using the devices. It's very important to put some type of a parental controls on the browser so that the kids are not looking at sexually explicit sites or things like that, and also to have the kids talk to the kids about it. Say, listen, mommy and daddy know you're curious, and that's great. We want you to learn all about computers, but there's some parts of the computers that you need to be clear about that are not safe for you. And we want to make sure that you're not doing that. I mean, I think really where I see the predatory stuff happening is more with food. It's like everything's a food commercial. Yeah. It's like, so when you pop up the browser, you've got like 3 or 4 different little commercials going on at the same time. And it's more about like, potato chips and ice cream versus healthy food, which is to me more predatory than the actual like little video games. I mean, those are almost kind of innocent. You want to get the child interested to be able to work with the game. And some of these games are actually learning games, so they're great. They help you build your own app. They get you curious. You become a little hacker.
Yes, they do. Look, I was reading some articles recently on platforms like TikTok, elsewhere, where they're seeing that kids are getting inundated by yes, body image issues, the eating disorders, physical harm, even suicidal things. I mean, these just scratching the surface, the types of things that kids are getting exposed to that we should be worried about out there. You mentioned, the being pushed the unhealthy foods. I mean, that is another one. I mean, it's just, where do you see the dangers there again? Just this is a wide-ranging set of issues.
TikTok in particular should be called out. There's no type of restriction on that. There's no type of, like with Facebook, if something's offensive or something is dangerous, they're going to pull it off, right? Especially if they're not aware of it and then they get made aware of it. But with TikTok, that's not happening at all. Wow. So a lot of actually countries have outlawed TikTok. Businesses have outlawed TikTok. Parents should not let children have any access to TikTok.
Thanks for that guidance. Is again part of the battles taking place around my household. But Ariel Evans, appreciate you being with us. Obviously, constantly shifting in an evolving environment. So thank you.
You're welcome.